Trudy had been late for work for the third time that week. The night before, he asked Mesoma, his wife, to iron his shirt for an early meeting. She had agreed absent-mindedly, too engrossed in filming a TikTok video to pay attention. Morning came, and the shirt was still crumbled at the bottom of the laundry basket. Babe! Babe! Are you serious? Chukwudi yelled from the bedroom. I told you I needed this shirt iron. I can't show up looking like this now. From the living room, Mesoma adjusted her phone stand and pressed record. Hi guys, she said, addressing her barely there audience on Instagram Live. Can you believe? My husband is shouting because of an iron shirt. Like, what do men even do without us? She giggled, ignoring the comment section, which remained painfully empty. Chukwudi stormed into the living room, yanking the shirt from the basket. Are you seriously going live right now? Babe, he exclaimed, his face red with frustration. Relax now, babe, she said, dismissing him with a wave of her hand. You are acting like it's the end of the world. Just iron it yourself. The next week, Mesoma decided to throw a small content creation day at home. She invited two friends, both self-proclaimed influencers like her. They spent the entire day rearranging the living room, borrowing Chukwudi's office chair to use as a prop, and blasting music for their videos. Chikodi the maid cleaned up after them without complaint, but Chukwudi was livid when he came home to find the dining table covered in makeup and wigs. Babe! Babe! He called from the living room. Is this how you want to live your life? He asked, his voice heavy with disappointment. You don't cook, you don't even clean, and now you have turned our home into a playground. Mesoma rolled her eyes. Why are you always so dramatic, Kudi, you know my work requires creativity. Work, he repeated, his voice rising. You call this work? Posting for 50 likes on Instagram is not work, Mesoma. The breaking point came during a family gathering at Chukwudi's parents' house. Mama Adobe, always observant, noticed how Mesoma stayed glued to her phone, leaving her plate untouched while others helped with the cooking and serving. Meso, Mama Adobe called, her tone deceptively light. Can you help me in the kitchen? Mesoma didn't even look up. Mama, I'm not very good with kitchen stuff, she said, laughing awkwardly. You know how our generation is. The entire room went quiet. Chukwudi's father cleared his throat, and Mama Adobe's smile vanished. Then, Nne, what are you good at? She asked sharply. Mesoma blinked, caught off guard. I create content, she stammered. Content? Mama Adobe said, shaking her head. Nne, wait though, Cherekwa. You mean you take pictures while another woman does your work at home? You know what? Well, my son didn't marry a camera. He married a wife, or didn't he? When they got home, Chukwudi didn't speak to her. Days passed in silence, and for the first time, Mesoma began to feel the weight of her choices. She noticed how tired he looked, how much pressure he carried alone, yet she refused to admit fault. One morning, she woke up to find a note on the dining table. Mesoma, I can't keep doing this. If you truly love me and this marriage, something has to change. Otherwise, I don't know how much longer I can stay. For the first time, Fear gripped her. She knew Chukwudi loved her, but she had pushed him to his limits. The note haunted Mesoma all day, but instead of reflecting, she doubled down on her lifestyle. Well, he's just overreacting, she muttered to herself, sipping on a cold soda while scrolling through Instagram. She had just uploaded a photo of herself in a new dress with the caption, Boss Babe Life. A few of her friends liked the post, leaving comments like, Slay Queen and you are goals. But deep down, Mesoma knew she wasn't thriving. Later that evening, Chukwudi came home late. He looked exhausted, his tie loosened and his shoes scuffed. He entered the kitchen, hoping for at least a warm meal. But the only thing inside was a dirty plate of leftover noodles that Mesoma had eaten earlier. Seriously? Mesoma, he called out. She appeared from the bedroom wearing silk pajamas, her hair perfectly styled. What now, Chukwudi? Why are you calling my name like that? She asked, her tone laced with irritation. Hey, I've been at work all day and you couldn't even bother to make dinner. What exactly did you do today? Mesoma scoffed, crossing her arms. Well, content creation is hard work, honey. You don't understand the pressure of staying relevant online. Relevant? Chukwudi exploded, slamming his briefcase on the table. Wait though, you have fewer followers than my office cleaner. I mean, what are you staying relevant for? The tension reached a boiling point during their first anniversary. Chukwudi had planned a small dinner at a fancy restaurant, but Mesoma showed up an hour late, wearing a dress she had borrowed from a friend for Instagram. Oh, I'm so sorry, babe. The light for my photos was perfect and I couldn't leave before taking the right shot, she said, grinning as if it was no big deal. Chukwudi's face fell. Honey, do you realize you mixed dinner? He said quietly. I waited here for an hour while people stared at me like I was some fool. Oh, babe, stop being so dramatic, she replied, waving him off. Oh yeah, now, let's order now. I'll post the pictures and everyone will see how perfect our evening was. That was the final straw. Chukwudi left without saying a word, leaving Mesoma alone at the table. The drama reached its peak one Saturday when Chukwudi's boss and his wife visited their home unannounced. The couple expected a warm welcome, but instead, they walked into chaos. The living room was a mess, with clothes and wigs scattered everywhere. The dining table was buried under makeup palettes and takeout boxes. Mesoma sat on the couch, doing a live unboxing video, completely unaware of her guests. Good afternoon, Chukwudi's boss said awkwardly, his wife's eyes scanning the disarray with visible disgust. Mesoma jumped up, flustered. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you come in, she stammered, quickly ending her live stream. Please sit down. Chukwudi, who had been in the bedroom, rushed out, mortified. I'm so sorry, he said, gesturing towards the couch. Please, let me clean this up. His boss gave his false smile. No need, Chukwudi. We just came to drop off some documents. But the damage was done. After that, they left. Chukwudi turned to Mesoma, his face pale with anger. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was? My career could be at stake because of your laziness. Midsummer opened her mouth to argue, but stopped. For the first time, she saw the pain in his eyes, the frustration and humiliation she had caused. It wasn't until Chukwudi moved out, temporarily, that the gravity of her actions hit her. He left a short note. I need space to breathe. Maybe this time apart will help us figure out if we are truly meant to be. Devastated, Mmesoma called her mother-in-law, Mama Adobe, in tears. Mama, I don't know what to do, she sobbed. Chukwudi has left me. Mama Adobe sighed on the other end of the line. Wanyoma, I've been waiting for this call. Seriously speaking, you need to pack your things and come to the village. It's time for you to learn what being a wife truly means. But Mmesoma didn't even listen to her mother-in-law, and she cut off. Mmesoma thought Chukwudi was bluffing when he left, but this turned into weeks, and he didn't return. At first, she posted cryptic Instagram captions like, "Sometimes distance is necessary for clarity." To keep up appearances, she even shared an old photo of them together with the hashtag couple goals, pretending everything was fine, but reality quickly set in. The bills began piling up. Chikodi, the maid, refused to continue working without pay. One evening, she walked into the living room, holding an envelope. "Madam, this is my resignation letter," she said firmly. "Resignation?" Mmesoma repeated, blinking in disbelief. "But who will do the housework?" "Madam, you haven't paid me in 2 months," Chikodi said. "I have my own family to take care of." Mmesoma tried to argue, but Chikodi left, slamming the door behind her. For the first time, Mmesoma had to fend for herself. The next morning, she woke up to chaos. The sink was overflowing with dirty dishes. The living room was a disaster, and a terrible smell was coming from the kitchen. She held her nose and peeked inside to find a pot of beans she had forgotten to refrigerate, now covered in mud. "Ew! This is so disgusting," she screamed. Grabbing her phone, she started filming. "Hi guys, look at what I have to deal with because my maid quit," she said, panning over the mess. She expected sympathy, but the comments were brutal. One user wrote, "Why don't you just clean it yourself?" Another added, "Influencer with a dirty house, nyaks." The comments stung, but Mmesoma ignored them. Instead of cleaning, she decided to order takeout and spend the day watching Netflix. Days later, Chukwudi's best friend Emeka paid her a surprise visit. He found her sitting in the middle of the mess, scrolling through her phone. "Mmesoma, what is going on here?" he asked, looking around in disbelief. "Oh, Emeka, thank God you are here," she said, standing up quickly. "Emeka, you won't believe what I'm going through. Do you know that Chukwudi, your friend, left me? The maid quit, and now I'm stuck with all this." Emeka raised an eyebrow. "Mmesoma, are you hearing yourself? You are complaining like this isn't your home. Why don't you just clean up?" She rolled her eyes. "It's not that simple. I don't even know where to start." "Then learn," Emeka said bluntly. "You are married now. This isn't a student hostel where you can live anyhow. If you don't shape up, you will lose Chukwudi for good." His words stung, but she waved him off. "You sound just like your friend," she muttered. The final twist came when Mmesoma's landlord showed up unannounced. Madam, your rent is overdue, he said sternly. Overdue? But Chukwudi handles that, she replied, trying to sound confident. Well, he hasn't paid for 2 months now, the landlord said. If I don't get my money by the end of the week, I'm sorry, you'll have to leave. Panic set in. Mesoma tried calling Chukwudi, but his number didn't go through. She texted him repeatedly, but there was no response. Desperate, she even reached out to some of her friends, but none of them offered any real help. For the first time, she realized how alone she truly was. The image she had carefully curated online was crumbling, and there was no one to save her. As the week progressed, Midsummer's problems multiplied. The landlord had given her a strict ultimatum, and now even the neighbors were beginning to talk. One evening, she overheard two women whispering by the gate as she returned from picking up food at a local restaurant. "Ne, that Chukwudi's wife, eh?" One of them said, her voice dripping with mockery. "She can dress well, but can't even manage her home. Do you even look at the state of that apartment? That one is even small. Did you even hear that her husband has moved out?" The other chimed in. These young girls don't know what marriage is. They think it's all about slaying for Instagram." Midsummer's face burned with embarrassment. She quickly walked past them, pretending not to hear, but the words stung deeply. With no money and no support, she resorted to selling some of her possessions. First, it was her designer handbags, then her wigs. She tried to keep it discreet, posting in local Facebook groups and asking buyers to meet her away from the house. One day, as she handed over her favorite handbag to a buyer at a nearby park, the woman gave her a pitying look. "Are you sure you want to sell this? It looks like it means a lot to you." Midsummer forced a smile. "I'm just decluttering," she lied. The woman nodded but didn't believe her. "Well, good luck with everything," she said as she walked away. Midsummer sat on the park bench for a long time, clutching the cash in her hand. She felt the weight of her choices pressing down on her, but her pride wouldn't let her admit she was wrong. One particularly rough night, the power went out and the apartment was plunged into darkness. Midsummer lit a candle and sat in the living room, scrolling through her phone to distract herself. As she looked at the perfectly curated lives of other influencers, a wave of frustration and envy washed over her. "Why isn't my life like this? She muttered, her voice breaking. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Chukwudi. "I'll be in town this weekend. Let's meet and talk." Her heart skipped a beat. She wasn't sure if this was a good sign or a bad one, but she knew she had to prepare. The day of the meeting, Midsummer dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that she hoped would remind Chukwudi of better times. She arrived at the cafe early, fidgeting nervously as she waited for him. When he finally walked in, her heart sank. He looked totally different, more composed, more confident, as if the time apart had done him good. "Chukwudi," she began, standing up to greet him, but he didn't smile. "Sit down, Midsummer," he said, his tone firm. She sat, her hands trembling. "Well, I didn't come here to argue," he said, placing a file on the table. "These are separation papers." her breath caught in her throat. Separation? Chukwudi, no now, we can fix this. He shook his head. Fix what, Mesoma? You have made no effort to change. Do you even understand the kind of stress you have put me through? Tears welled up in her eyes. I've been trying. He interrupted. Mesoma, you are still living in a fantasy world. You need to grow up. I'm very serious. I'm tired of carrying this marriage alone. For the first time, Mesoma felt true fear. She had always assumed Chukwudi would never leave her, that his love would outweigh his frustration. But now, staring at the separation papers, she realized she was on the verge of losing everything. Mesoma stared at the separation papers, her hands trembling. The words on the page blurred as tears filled her eyes. Chukwudi, please, she whispered. Don't do this. I promise I will change. I will do better. Chukwudi leaned back in his chair, studying her carefully. Mesoma, I have heard those words before. Words mean nothing without action. She shook her head frantically. This time, I mean it, I swear. Just don't leave me. Her desperation seemed genuine, but Chukwudi remained skeptical. Alright, he said finally, closing the file. I will give you one last chance, but if I come back and see the same Mesoma I left, this marriage is over. Mesoma nodded vigorously, wiping her tears. I promise, Chukwudi. I promise I won't let you down. When Chukwudi left the cafe, Mesoma sat there for a long time, replaying his words in her mind. She felt like she was standing at a crossroads. She could either continue down the path of denial and selfishness or make a real effort to turn her life around. The next day, she called her mother-in-law, Mama Adobe. Hello, Mama, I need your help, she said, her voice small and uncertain. Mama Adobe was silent for a moment. Then she said, Nne, pack your things and come to the village. As I said before, it's time you learned what it means to be a wife. Arriving in the village was a culture shock for Mesoma. She had grown up in the city, surrounded by modern conveniences and a fast-paced lifestyle. The village, with its red earth roads and simple houses, felt like a different world entirely. Mama Adobe wasted no time putting her to work. If you are serious about changing, you will start by learning the basics, she said, handing Mesoma a broom. Broom? Mesoma repeated, staring at it like it was a foreign object. Yes, broom, Mama Adobe replied sharply. Nne, you will sweep this compound every morning before the sun comes up. Then you will have to fetch water from the well. You see that well over there? Then you help me prepare breakfast. Mesoma wanted to protest, but she bit her tongue. This was her chance to prove herself. The first few days were grueling. Her hands blistered from carrying water buckets, and her back ached from bending over to sweep. She struggled to cook meals over a firewood, often burning the food or spilling the ingredients. One evening, after an especially tough day, Mesoma collapsed onto a mat in the kitchen, tears streaming down her face. Mama, I can't do this. No, she sobbed. Mama Adobe sat down beside her, her expression softening. Wanyoma. No one said it would be easy. But look, marriage isn't easy either. You have to work for it. Love alone isn't enough. Those words struck a chord in Mmesoma. She realized that she had been treating her marriage like a fairy tale, expecting everything to fall into place without effort. Gradually, Mmesoma began to improve. She learned to cook delicious meals, keep the house tidy, and manage her time better. She even started waking up early to join Mama Adobe at the local market, where she gained a new appreciation for hard work and community. One day, as she prepared dinner, Mama Adobe said, "Chukwudi is coming to visit this weekend. Let's see if he notices the changes, eh? You remember everything I taught you, eh? Chishike." Mmesoma's heart raced at the thought. She wasn't sure if her efforts would be enough, but she was determined to show Chukwudi that she had grown. The weekend came quickly, and Mmesoma's anxiety grew as Chukwudi's arrival approached. She spent the morning ensuring everything was perfect. The compound swept clean, the kitchen spotless, and a steaming pot of oven sara bubbling on the fire. When Chukwudi's car finally pulled up into the compound, Mmesoma wiped her hands nervously on her wrapper and stood by the doorway. Chukwudi stepped out, his face unreadable as he took in the sight before him. "Mmeso," he said, "he's too neutral." "Welcome, Chukwudi," she replied, bowing slightly, just as Mama Adobe had taught her. Throughout the day, Chukwudi watched quietly as Mmesoma went about her tasks. He noticed how she skillfully served the meal, how she cleaned up afterward without complaint, and how she carried herself with a newfound humility. When evening came, he finally spoke. "Mmesoma, I don't know what to say, but you have really changed." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I had to, Chukwudi. I realized I was wrong. I took you and our home for granted. Mama helped me see that." Chukwudi glanced at his mother, who was sitting nearby with a satisfied smile. "Thank you, Mama," he said. "I owe you for this." Mama Adobe chuckled. Marriage is a partnership, eh? Both of you need to work together to make it last. But I'm very glad Mmesoma was willing to learn." Later that night, Chukwudi and Mmesoma sat outside under the stars, talking like they hadn't in months. She apologized for her past behavior, and he promised to support her as she continued to grow. "Mmesoma," he said, taking her hand, "Babe, I never stopped loving you. Trust me, I just needed you to meet me halfway." She nodded, her heart full of gratitude. "I will never take us for granted again." Marriage is not just about love, but about partnership, effort, and growth. True love thrives when both partners are willing to learn, adapt, and support each other. Pride and selfishness can destroy a relationship, but humility and the willingness to change can rebuild even the most strained bonds. Hi besties, thank you so much for stopping by and watching to the end of this amazing story. What do you think about Mmesoma's transformation? Have you or someone you know ever experienced a similar situation in marriage or relationships? How did you handle it? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Or did you think that what Chukwudi did by leaving Mmesoma was a good choice, or was there another way he could have talked to her and they could have made out together? I would love to hear from you. Please don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and turn on the notification bell so you can never miss out on another story. Your support means the world to us and it helps us growing. Alright besties, I'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.